Part 1. Abbas the Great. Abbas was born on January 27, 1571, in Herat. His father was Muhammad Qodabanda, the Safavid Shah of Iran, and his mother was Kira al-Nisa Begum. The Safavid dynasty began as a group of Islamic Sufi mystics in the 1200s. They lived in the town of Ardabil in northwest Iran. Over time, they grew militant, turned to Shia Islam, and gained loyal followers. Many Turkoman tribes joined them and became warriors called the Qizilbash, or Redheads. In the early 1500s, Ismail I used the Qizilbash to take power. He became Shah of Iran and built an empire stretching from the Caucasus Mountains to the Persian Gulf, and from the Euphrates River to the Hindu Kush. He made Shia Islam the state religion, which helped shape the future of Persia. But this choice turned its Sunni Muslim neighbors, especially the Ottoman Turks in Anatolia and the Uzbeks in Central Asia, into enemies. The Safavids also had to manage power struggles with the Qizilbash. When a Shah died, fighting broke out between the Qizilbash, who used this chance to try to gain more power. The Ottomans and Uzbeks often took advantage of this chaos and attacked. Persia faced all of these problems when Abbas grew up in Herat. Herat was a rich city, sitting on trade routes between Central Asia and India. Safavid princes ruled Herat as governors, with Qizilbash leaders helping run them. Abbas's father, Muhammad Qodabanda, once governed Herat, but was nearly blind, which made ruling hard. In 1576, Shah Tahmasp died without naming an heir. His daughter, Pari Khan Khanum, helped make his son Ismail the new Shah. Ismail II's rule was short and violent. He killed many family members to secure power. He died a year later, likely poisoned. Muhammad Qodabanda then became Shah with help from his wife, Kira al-Nisa Begum. She tried to make their son Hamza the next Shah, but she refused to listen to the Qizilbash and was killed in 1579. While Persia was weak, the Uzbeks invaded Khorasan, and the Ottomans took Tabriz. In 1581, a Qizilbash leader in Herat, Ali Qoli Khan, declared 10-year-old Abbas as Shah. When Qodabanda stopped him, Ali Qoli's rival, Murshid Qoli Khan, kidnapped Abbas to try his luck in making Abbas Shah. When the Uzbeks invaded again, Murshid heard that Qodabanda had left the capital of Qazvin. On October 1st, 1587, he entered the capital with Abbas. With no one resisting, not even Qodabanda, Abbas became Shah Abbas I at age 17. At first, Abbas did not rule by himself. Murshid ran the government. Murshid started to give top jobs to friends and family, and raised taxes across the empire by 25%, making many people angry. He also sent the old Shah Qodabanda and other princes far away to stop any threats to his power. At the same time, Abbas's old guardian, Ali Qoli, was stuck in Herat, besieged by Uzbek forces. Abbas begged Murshid to send help, but Murshid refused. After a year, the Uzbeks took the city, killing Ali Qoli and many people. In July 1589, while on campaign together, Abbas had 4 trusted men kill Murshid in the night. Abbas also ordered the deaths of Murshid's allies. Now fully in charge at age 18, Abbas faced rebellions and a war with the Ottomans. In 1590, he made a humiliating peace with the Ottomans, losing large chunks of land in the west, including Tabriz. The peace, however, allowed Abbas to begin reforms. He built a new army loyal to him, made up of captured boys from the Caucasus called Ghulams, and musketeers called Tofanji. To fund the new army, he seized land from the Qizilbash and redirected taxes from this land to the royal treasury. Abbas worked hard to keep control of his empire. He personally traveled throughout Persia to stop revolts across the country. In just over a year, he covered more than 1,400 miles. While he dealt with these problems, the Uzbeks again attacked Khorasan. In 1590, they captured the holy city of Mashhad. They destroyed the Shia shrine of Imam Ali al-Rida, killed thousands, and took many people as slaves. Luckily, after the Khan died in 1590, the Uzbeks fell into chaos. Abbas attacked in August and won, taking back Herat, Mashhad, and most of Khorasan. After a disastrous campaign to capture the Uzbek city of Balkh in 1602, Abbas and the Uzbeks made peace. At the same time, though, Abbas made moves in the south. The same year, the Safavids captured Bahrain from the Portuguese, who had mistreated Persian traders and blocked trade routes in and out of the Persian Gulf via the Strait of Hormuz. When Abbas later welcomed Portuguese envoys and talked about Christianity with them, trade soon reopened. On his way home from his victory over the Uzbeks in 1598, Abbas heard that 2 English brothers, Anthony and Robert Shirley, had come to see him. Anthony said they wanted to build trade and unite Persia with Christian Europe against the Ottomans. But Queen Elizabeth of England did not support them, and trade was hard because of blocked or dangerous routes. Still, Abbas liked the brothers. They watched polo games, ate together, and talked about war and politics. In 1599, Anthony finally spoke about the alliance idea. Abbas was unsure but curious. To earn Abbas's trust, Anthony lied, saying he was related to King James of Scotland and was sent as an ambassador by European rulers. He was neither. Abbas agreed to send him back to Europe with letters of alliance for its rulers. Robert stayed behind to make sure Anthony returned. The mission left in July 1599. They avoided Ottoman land by sailing through Russia. In Europe, few cared about the alliance. Elizabeth even banned Anthony from coming home, and he worked for Spain instead. Much of the Shirley brothers' visit took place in Isfahan, which Abbas made his capital in 1598. It had fresh water, rich land, and space to grow. It also once was the capital of the medieval Seljuk Turks. But by Abbas's time, it had shrunk to about 50,000 people. He wanted to make it as glorious as Constantinople. He rebuilt the city south of the old city. He turned a royal polo field into the famous Naskeh Jahan Square. On the south and east sides of the square, he built 2 mosques. On the west, he built the Ali Kapu Palace. On the north side stood the Grand Bazaar, full of merchants selling gold, cloth, and jewels. Along the main street, the Charbagh, nobles built large homes. Trees, gardens, and fountains lined the road. Abbas also built suburbs like Abbasabad to house refugees from Tabriz. Minorities such as Armenians, Zoroastrians, and Jews lived in the city, though many left after Abbas died due to unfair treatment. Isfahan also had links to Europe. The English and Dutch East India Companies had offices there, as did the Catholic Church. Under Abbas, Isfahan turned into the rich, busy, and beautiful capital of the Safavid Empire. In 1603, Abbas began his war against the Ottomans. The Ottomans were weak, as their army was busy fighting in Europe. Abbas saw a chance to act. His army quickly took Tabriz in October. In Armenia, many towns welcomed Abbas. He then took Yerevan and began a long winter siege of the local forts. Armenian villagers helped his army, even in freezing weather. By May 1604, the local Ottoman garrisons gave up. The Ottomans were slow to respond, but when they did, Abbas destroyed crops and deported 60,000 Armenian families to slow the Turks. In November 1605, Abbas took the Ottomans in battle with a fake cavalry charge. The Ottomans panicked and ran, and many were killed or captured. By 1607, Abbas had taken back all the land Persia lost in 1590. In 1612, the Ottomans agreed to peace. Abbas kept the land, but had to send them 200 bales of silk each year. Afterwards, in response to a rebellion in Georgia, Abbas took 30,000 Georgians prisoners and forced them to convert to Islam and move to Persia. He also deported another 15,000 families, virtually depopulating the entire region. In 1616, when Abbas did not pay the silk tribute, the Ottomans attacked again. Abbas responded with more killings and deportations in Georgia, as they began to support the Ottomans. A final peace was made in late 1618. Abbas regained the land lost in 1590, and only had to send 100 bales of silk each year. After making peace with the Ottomans in 1618, Abbas looked again toward the Persian Gulf. He hoped Spain would help Persia against the Ottomans in a future war, and sent Robert Shirley to make a deal. If that failed, Shirley would ask the English for warships to attack the Portuguese. Around that time, English traders arrived in Persia, wanting to sell surplus wool from India. Abbas agreed, knowing they could challenge the Portuguese. By 1621, the Portuguese were attacking villages along the coast. Abbas saw this as war. He sent troops to Qashm Island in the Strait of Hormuz, and when English ships arrived to collect silk, Abbas told them they would get nothing unless they helped. The English agreed in exchange for trading rights and a share of the loot. In 1622, the joint Anglo-Safavid force took Qashm and then looted the island of Hormuz. The English felt underpaid, however, and refused to help further. At the same time, the Ottoman Sultan, Osman II, was killed in a revolt. His uncle Mustafa succeeded him, but he was mentally ill. Abbas saw a chance to take back Baghdad, which Persia had lost in 1534. In 1624, Abbas's soldiers stormed in and took control, and soon held much of Mesopotamia. In late 1625, the Ottomans launched a counterattack. But they had no siege weapons and ran low on supplies. The siege failed, and the Ottomans left Baghdad in July 1626, sick and starving. By then, Abbas was 55 years old and often sick with fevers. On his deathbed, he chose his 18-year-old grandson, Prince Sam, to be his heir. Abbas died on January 19, 1629, at age 57. His death had such an impact that a French jeweler, Jean Chardin, later wrote, "When this great prince ceased to live, Persia ceased to prosper." Part 2. Safi. Prince Sam became the next Shah and took the royal name Safi. Safi was an unexpected choice, as Abbas chose him just before he died. Abbas had previously blinded or killed his own sons and brothers out of paranoia, so Safi, a grandson, was the only option. Abbas's Grand Vizier, Khalifa Sultan, quickly put Safi on the throne to prevent chaos. Some said Safi was kind, as he gave gifts, but others saw him as cruel. His gifts cost the state too much, and worse, he began killing or jailing many people with power or royal blood. He targeted his cousins, generals, advisors, court officials, and even women in the royal harem. Many of the people who helped him become Shah were not safe either. Safi grew up inside the royal harem and learned little about ruling. He did not care about government, art, or learning. He had trouble reading and writing, and spent his time drinking and getting high on opium. This hurt his image and legitimacy. Many powerful people did not respect him, or even accepted him as Shah. Safi's enemies saw his weaknesses and started to encroach on Persia's borders. After Abbas died, Arab tribes raided near Baghdad, but they did not do much damage. The real danger came from the Ottomans, who were still at war with Persia. In 1629, the Ottoman army took Hamadan after winning a battle at Mahidasht. But instead of pushing further, they went after Baghdad. Safavid troops stopped them, and the Ottomans left without taking the city. In 1638, the Ottomans tried again and finally took Baghdad. The next year, both sides signed the Treaty of Suhab. It gave Baghdad and Mesopotamia back to the Ottomans, and saw both countries stay peaceful towards each other for the rest of the century. With Safi not bothering to govern, his Grand Vizier, Asirul Taki, took up his place in 1634. He raised money, fixed roads, rebuilt holy sites, and managed the empire's finances. He worked hard, but became too proud and harsh. He refused to make deals, which caused Persia to lose Kandahar to the Mughal Empire in India in 1638. On May 12, 1642, while planning to take the city back, Safi died at age 31, likely from years of drinking and drug abuse. Part 3. Abbas II. Contrary to Jean Chardin's words, the 13-year reign of Shah Safi was only a speed bump in Persia's prosperity. After Safi died, his 9-year-old son Abbas II became Shah of Iran. Since Abbas II was too young to rule, Saroo Taki ran the government in his place. Saroo Taki tried to fix the problems left from Safi's reign. He reduced wasteful spending and banned drinking at court. He also lowered taxes and kept top officials in their roles to avoid rebellion. He used spies and punished corrupt leaders, but these strict actions made him many enemies. In 1645, some army officers killed Saroo Taki. The court fell into confusion, but young Abbas II stayed strong. He punished the killers and named a new Grand Vizier, that being Khalifa Sultan, who had previously served under Abbas I and Safi. He carried on Saroo Taki's work by banning gambling and prostitution to further clean up the court. With Saroo Taki dead, Abbas II began to grow into his role as Shah. Like his father, he grew up in the royal palace and had no real training to be Shah, but he learned quickly. To start, he further expanded Crown land, giving him more power and money, but many people suffered under unfair royal officials. Abbas II sometimes stepped in when people complained. He often held formal meetings to manage the state, meet foreign guests, and give out jobs. A council also helped watch the empire's governors and directly listened to people's problems. The royal court also grew stronger during his reign. He pushed aside the old tribal Qizilbash leaders and gave more power to trusted officers and ghulams, often hailing from Georgia, Armenia, and Circassia. These men earned their place by loyalty and skill, not family background like with the Qizilbash. The army, however, stayed weak. It had fallen into disrepair during Safi's rule and did not improve much under Abbas II. It did stop the Mughal Empire from retaking Kandahar in 1649, but that was its last major success. Abbas II wanted to keep the peace with the Ottomans and chose not to attack them, even when they were busy fighting in Crete. Most fighting became small border clashes, like a brief one with Russia in the Caucasus. Corruption spread, training slackened, and supplies ran low. By 1666, the army was so hollow that it was said that soldiers had to march several times in parades to look like a complete army. Thanks to no major wars, farmers had good lives, and roads were safe and secure. Foreign trade grew with Europe. After Persia pushed the Portuguese out of Hormuz in 1622, the English, Dutch, and French moved in. The English East India Company opened offices in Shiraz and Isfahan, and, as mentioned before, got trade rights for helping Persia take Hormuz. But the outbreak of the English Civil War in 1642 made Persians question how stable England really was, and trade was not as profitable afterwards. The Dutch had more success. Unlike in England, the Dutch government gave traders strong support and freedom. They traded Persian silk for spices, sugar, and cloth. The French also made trade agreements, but their trade was slow to pick up. Meanwhile, European traders helped bring new ideas to Persia. Travelers like Jean Chardin wrote about Persian life, while some Persians visited Europe and brought back what they learned. Western culture especially art, began to spread in cities and among the rich. As Abbas II aged, he picked up the harmful habits of his father, like heavy drinking and risky romances. He caught syphilis because of it, and died on October 26, 1666, after 25 years as Shah. Abbas II managed to uphold the prosperous empire his great-grandfather and namesake had built, despite the flaws of his predecessor, and because of it, Abbas II is generally considered to be the last great Safavid Shah. But he was the last. His son and heir, Sulayman, would prove to be much worse than Safi, and would begin the process of the Safavid Empire's long, arduous, and bloody decline.